from a visual point of view, they represent what an illustrator would want. You know, they're a really nice shape to draw. They can be done in one brush stroke. I think that's the biggest appeal for me. The song makes it so special, and its kind of visual impact really leaves a mark on you. I looked at Eastern European folk tales, and there's something in there about the blackbird being the daughter of the priest and kind of symbolising sort of sacred presence. But at the same time, in other Eastern European cultures, it can also be the devil. So there's a really interesting antithesis there, where in some cultures it's represented as a good thing and in others a bad thing. And that kind of androgynous representation of the bird is what makes it really interesting, because it shows you really that things aren't just black and white, there's always shades in between. And you can represent that through, I suppose in my case, through light and dark, the way you represent the bird, the way you draw it. Sometimes it can be a mischievous bird at one point when it's kind of making its way through back alleyways and representing this murky side of the city. Or sometimes a very monumental bird where it's just sitting at the top of the town hall and singing. I've been drawing really forever. I don't ever remember not drawing. I remember being quite visual from an early age. There's always been an element of wanting to illustrate, not necessarily what was in front of me, but what could be in front of me if my imagination had control over it. So it kind of started from me being interested in just illustration in general, but I never thought it was a very viable pathway for a career. So I've always had it on the side, and I've always been a very academic student, but with this secret desire to be an illustrator. I've never known anything else, and I've never really wanted to be anything else. I've recently completed a master's in children's book illustration, and as part of that master's, I actually had the opportunity of producing a book. Now, the book was really just irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, because what ended up happening is actually I produced a really big sort of art piece with it. What was a 64-page monster of sketches of Manchester, and with this blackbird flying through and taking you on a journey and showing you what the buildings are and what kind of the hidden spaces of Manchester look like. And that eventually turned into a film, a short film, which got commissioned by the BBC, by a new creative. So that's something that's actually on the iPlayer now as a film. My approach to my master's project, which was my final major project when I produced this book about the blackbird flying through the city of Manchester, was to create a sonic art book. So I thought, what best vehicle for that? Well, it has to be the blackbird. It just developed from there, but the bird is really what drives it, in the sense that people can identify with a bird, and rather than it being a protagonist for me in my illustrations, it's just that sort of subtle presence that never quite goes away. So I don't tend to hide it on purpose in my work, and I don't tend to set out to include it. It just kind of comes back like a default. I can't quite get rid of it.